Dexter Season 4 episode review video. Before I get into that, though, pretty important. If you weren't caught up to the point where I am at rewatching or watching Dexter, or you're just not entirely sure, then you definitely need to take the initiative and pay attention to the episode's title, which of course I'll mention, as well as put in the description for you. If that happens to be the case, you're not caught up, it would be my recommendation that you don't watch this video any further to avoid any potential spoilers. This will be Dexter Season 4, Episode 8. Title of this episode is called Roadkill. And this will be my review, reaction, recap after just finishing watching the episode. Dexter is upset, to a degree, due to the fact that he has killed someone who didn't quite meet his code. The guy was a piece of shit, but he didn't commit murder that we know of. So Dexter ends up breaking the Jonathan Farrow blood slide, and then Batista has the meeting. I don't know if it's a morning meeting or afternoon meeting, and directs Soderquist to stay with Farrow because they think Farrow's alive, when in fact we know that he's dead. Batista asks Deb what does she have on the bludgeonings, and Deb talks about the string of 3 murders in front of LaGuerta and Batista, while Dexter is saying, "Don't do it, Deb, don't do it, Deb," and then LaGuerta tells her to go on, and Dexter again, "Don't do it, don't do it," and she apparently has kept Lundy's legacy alive. And then we hear, "Detective Morgan, to my office," LaGuerta says. And we see Arthur Mitchell, the Trinity Killer, sure made a really good coffin or casket. Good work. Dexter, as Kyle Butler, goes to visit Arthur Mitchell, and we find out that Arthur is actually going on another 4 Walls build. He's starting his cycle over again already. LaGuerta has taken off, or I should say has taken Deb off the Trinity case because she was a victim in that, or she's a witness, I guess. Dexter says at least it will free her up for other things. Deb says she loves Dexter, but sometimes he's a fucking tard to Dexter. Dexter is going to Arthur's next 4 Walls build, and everyone else thinks he is going there for something science-y. Dexter, of course, as Kyle Butler, begs Arthur to take him with him to Tampa. I think that's where the build was. And Arthur eventually tells him to get in, rather reluctantly, of course. Deb, through Quinn, recommends to do a DNA sweep at random places just to try to catch the person that matches that DNA. Masuka's plans for twins will have to wait. He's got to lead the DNA sweep as he's LFA. Well, not necessarily LFA in this case, but that's his title. Dexter has a lot of questions for Arthur regarding the build. Arthur, that's on the way there, Arthur is getting really annoyed by the questions. And then Arthur tells Dexter, as Kyle, of course, he's a brave man because he's... wait a minute. I must have skipped something here. Oh, yeah, okay. Dexter wants to go to a... to grab some food or something like that, a rest stop. I don't remember what exactly he says. So Dexter and him are sitting down at a bench, and Dexter brings over a burrito that he cooked at the I don't know if it's a truck stop or something like that. And that's when Arthur says he's a brave man because he's eating something from the restaurant, the rest stop. And then what the fuck? Because Arthur's pressuring him. What did you want? Why did you want to? You wanted to tell me something. Dexter tells Arthur he killed a man. Like, whoa, holy crap. And Arthur tells Dexter confession is good for the soul. And then Arthur comes to Dexter's room when they get to the hotel later on and says, change of plans. We're not going to go do the build tomorrow. He has a surprise for Kyle. Quinn is still at the station when LaGuerta and Batista thought they were alone. He says a bunch of the guys have donated their vacation days to, or at least one vacation day per person, to help them close the gap for the cost of doing the DNA stuff to try to find out who Trinity is. And then after Quinn leaves, Magria closes the drapes and says fuck it and starts making out with Batista or Angel, whatever you want to call him, and they begin to have sex on the table, although we don't see that part, but they are having sex on the table. Christine Hill shows up at Quinn's house late that night, and she wants to come in at first, and then Quinn's like, no, it's not the time. So they hug, and then she looks around and notices the info on the swabs, and then takes off. So there's something fishy about Christine Hill, and I must admit, initially watching this show for the first time way back in the day, which was 2014, is the first time I watched Dexter. I didn't catch all this stuff with Christine Hill, but she takes off after that. Dexter's going go to the meteorological conference, but Arthur is actually already up and ready to leave. And I should mention that he's super excited. He even does this little dance, which is one of the funniest moments on Dexter, just because it's so odd. And yeah, Arthur is happy. Today he's the happy dancing man, as Dexter says. Masuka mentions Lila to Quinn as he's talking to Quinn. Elliot is going to clean the fish that Astor and Cody caught so they can eat them instead of waiting for Dexter to return from his science-y trip. Arthur stops at a house he used to live in. It's actually the house that he grew up in, and he just barges in past the couple that lives there, and they don't really speak that good of English, if any. I guess they speak a little bit of English, but it's probably Chinese or whatnot. And then Arthur says he was 10 when he was watching his sister Vera take a shower. She got startled and slipped and died because something went in her femoral artery, and that's why he does these killings. And then his parents blame him. His mother killed herself by jumping to her death, and his father, well, Dexter puts the pieces together that Dexter killed his father by bludgeoning. So he tells him all this, and then Arthur tells Dexter he's never told anybody that. So interesting stuff there, some good development for Arthur. Christine asked Deb about the DNA testing. Deb won't tell her anything about that. She says, oh, we're just doing that for random stuff. She won't tell her anything about the case. And then Deb tells Christine that maybe she'll give her that interview that she's wanted with her. Arthur told a family when they went to a restaurant about his sister's death, and I don't know if he told anything about what Kyle had told them, but something's hinted towards that, but I'm not really sure. And Dexter's like, or Kyle, Dexter, whatever you want to call him at this point, he's annoyed that Arthur he's starting to lose it a little bit here. So he makes Arthur leave the diner. We have Elliot chasing Rita and the kids around with the fish's head. Yuck. Deb goes to the lab where Masuka is and takes off her shirt and asks how tall her shooter was. Due to the trajectory, that's totally fucking straight. Masuka, he can't believe what he's seen. He's just like... And then Deb says, Jesus, Masuka, they're just tits. And he's like, they're yours, perky and perfect. She does have a nice abs and nice torso. I'll give it to Jennifer Carpenter for that. And then they determined that the person that shot Deb and Frank Lundy was actually Masuka's height. He wasn't 6'4"-ish. So we have Rita and Elliot. They're hitting it off. Rita tells Elliot that she used to be a party girl. Dexter was going to give Arthur the M99 as he has a kill room prepared, but Arthur is already gone. And Arthur was actually at the build site, and he was actually going to jump to his death, landing on some rebar, but Dexter initially saves Arthur, and then he said, well, if I let him go, I'll kill him myself. But he's about to let Arthur go, and then some people that showed up for the build helped Dexter pull Arthur Mitchell back up. And then Arthur says that he thought God's plan was for him to save Kyle, but it's actually for Kyle to save him. So he's okay now. He can see clearly, apparently. We find out that Deb is back on the case, and LaGuerta's even letting her take the lead. Batista is still going to handle Frank Lundy's murder, but Deb is the lead for everything else. And then Batista goes to sit on the table, and it breaks. Luckily, it didn't happen last night when they were getting it on that table. And we find out that Deb is actually holding Frank Lundy's FBI badge, just thinking about Frank Lundy. trying to solve this case, not only his murder and what happened to Frank Lundy. And Arthur tells Dexter, aside from that stuff at the station, about the weekend's actions, and that he's a little embarrassed by the whole thing and his actions during the weekend. But he says he's better now. He can see clearly, essentially. And then they arrive at one of Deb's DNA sweeps. Arthur decides to turn around, gonna take the scenic route instead. And then the episode ends with Dexter wondering if he's human. So I actually really liked this episode of Dexter. I thought this was a really solid episode. I think it advanced a lot of characters and a lot of good performances in this episode. Now, as far as a score of the episode, I'm going to give it a 9.2 out of 10. And I will say my favorite moment of this episode is the moment where Dexter's going to go to the science thing, and then Arthur's already awake and like doing his little dance shuffle. I thought that was hilarious. Every time I see that scene, I just start cracking up because it's just so like random. So I love that. As far as the characters of the episode, well, there were some very strong performances in this episode. You've got LaGuerta and Batista were really good. You've got Deb was great. You've got Arthur Mitchell was phenomenal. You've got Soderquist. Okay, Soderquist didn't really do that much in this episode. So my female characters of the episode, yes, I have two now. I'm going to give it to Deb and LaGuerta, and then I'm going to give an honorable mention to a male character, Elliot, the neighbor for Dexter and Rita. He was making some moves on Rita in this episode. Nothing happened, but there was certainly some chemistry there. But my male characters of the episode, yeah, I have two now. It was a tough episode to decide. I'm going to give it to Arthur Mitchell and Sergeant Batista. So you've heard what I have to say. Like I said, a lot of good stuff in this episode. But now it's your turn. If you're a fan of Dexter or Dexter New Blood or anything else that I cover on this channel, make sure that you smash that like button. That's what helps the channel out the most, in addition to other things. Share the video with whomever you want, or put it on any of your social media platforms. Don't forget to sound off in the comment section about what your thoughts are on this episode. What would you score it? Who would be your characters of the episode? What was your favorite moment, if you have one? And last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button. You're watching the video anyway. Subscribe to the channel, join the team, show your name support, and be a part of something special. And JDev will return.